already. We're on the big screen now.
So on the big screen now, yeah. Right, all belong.
Okay, look, just waiting for a few people coming on, mate.
Yeah, it just went on. It went when I was looking at my inbox, it didn't come up because it went to my junk mail. So I've got it sorted.
Yeah, I believe. Couple are coming on now. Our guys, this lad's a brilliant war hero, brilliant lad. Know him for quite a while now. Met him in Newcastle. Stephen Rafe, brilliant person. Ryan Barby, welcome to the show, son. You there? Can you hear me?
It's good to see Brian start off good positive. It's good to see you fit well now. Yeah, can you hear you, mate? I'm just saying it's good to start off with a positive and that, and shout out to the people that you said at the start. And it's good to start off on a good positive. No, it's good to see you fit and healthy now, Brian. You're doing better now.
Yeah, I'm getting there every day. I'm getting a little bit stronger, a little bit fitter. And just you've got to do spinal injuries, as you know. Being in the army, you know, the Airborne soldier. You know exactly what about the spinal injuries because you've seen it yourself in the army. It's the worst injuries you can get, but it takes so long to repair because it's like a muscle or something because it takes a long time. I'm getting there, mate. They said 3 years and I was walking in the first day.
Put a body through a lot of strain when younger and it catches up on you, doesn't it?
What I'm going to do, Ryan, I'm going to go back to when you were a kid, where you're from, so we let people know where you're from, your credentials and everything. But where were you born then?
Yeah. Well, I was born in Kettering, which is a town next to me where I grew up, which is a small town called Corby.
Right.
Yeah, great town. It's got a lot of Scottish heritage to it. So yeah, I grew up there. Like went to school with a lot of everyone from Corby and like a lot of Scottish people that always got on really well. I've always tend to get on well with the Scots, to be fair. And so yeah, that's where I grew up.
What was it like going to school? Were you popular?
No, not really. I was quite sporty. Like, I'm not saying I was the best at the sports, but I always had a thing for sports. I enjoyed it. Like, I'd do anything to get out of the classroom, to get outside. I was always an outdoor person, Brian. Like, I always have been. I like even now, like go for hikes or just being outdoors. Never been an indoor person. So I was like that as a kid at school. As soon as I finished school, just straight outside playing around with like kids in the street and stuff. I never really liked being in the house. I was always like an outdoor kid. You
get kids now that just sit in the house on computers. They're all overweight. They eat crappy food.
We
were on our bikes. We were out playing games, football, whatever. Even if you weren't good at it, like you said, we all joined in. Everyone was fit. The kids now are all sitting in the house eating burgers and not doing any training. I think that starts to depression as well because you put weight on when you're young and people are bullying you because you're overweight. I think a lot of it's because they don't get out of the house and don't train and don't do anything.
Yeah, I was lucky. I never really got bullied or nothing like that. But I know you did when you were younger, didn't you, Brian?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I had dyslexia as a kid. I went to special school. Kids taught you, but that's the kids are like that. You know what? You've just got to get over it. But the kids now, it's just when you were at school and you got bullied, it stopped at the school gate because when you got home, you were safe. You were your dad's house now. But now, because the computers, 24 hours online bullying. There's more kids killing themselves now than ever. Through online trolls. It's terrible what's happening.
Yeah, it's a shame with the cyberbullying, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So when did you decide to go into the army? How did you get into the army then?
Well, like from school, like back when I was at school, you could leave at 16, where you have to be 18 now, but at 16 you join straight from there. So I went to Harrogate up north, which is sort of the junior intake.
Yeah.
And so I went straight in at 16. I wanted to do it all when I was 14, 15, the teacher said, what you want to do? I used to watch all the war films and stuff. And I used to I was quite fit as well because I spent all my youth boxing as well. I used to love the boxing. I used to watch all your Roberto Duran, Shuri Leonard. That was my first dream really, to become like a fighter, fight Madison Square Garden sort of thing. But obviously but it was just good dream to have as a kid because it always kept me quite disciplined. I stayed out of trouble and I always kept fairly fit. So when it comes to joining the military at 16, I was quite mature from age. I had an old head, which I like to think I did, and I was fairly disciplined anyway. So the military was just sort of a good move for me.
Yeah. What was it like when you first went? What was the basic training? Was that quite hard?
Yeah, the basic training was quite hard. I think it's more sort of culture shock of things I used to struggle with. The fitness was never really too much an issue with because in our units and stuff, we also want to go A to B, and like yourself, you used to like train like weights like multiple times a day. You was like completely dedicated on it. Like obviously you got 24 stone like powerhouse sort of thing. But I was like sort of the opposite in the sense I trained all the time. But I was a cardio man, Brian. I used to love my cardio, so I was always out running like multiple times a day, like big distances. I used to like running, swimming, cycling, rowing. I was just like a cardio machine. Like that was like sort of my thing, like the cardio. We got in. I got into that, like, and then people just thought like it'd be like a good move for me, like as I said. But the bit with the basic training, so the fitness never really was an issue for me. It was more, if I did struggle with anything, it would be like the weather conditions, like being outside for like days on end in the snow or cold weather, or like not having much food, not much sleep. They're really things like that sort of like break a lot of people rather than the fitness side of aspect. It's more like the elements of because when you're training, like when it starts snowing, it's when you haven't much sleep. Like it's just like that's more when you find it like tougher sort of thing, really.
Yeah. So when did you do any tours abroad? Any tours abroad or anything like Afghanistan?
Yeah.
Things like that?
Yeah, we went to Afghanistan once. We'd passed once I got to the regiment, when I passed everything. So do like phase 1 and phase 2, and then you go into like specialist training. Right. Because I was doing like I got pushed into like an airborne unit, so had to obviously do like your P company, which is like your sort of advanced elite like fitness test, whatever you call it. And then I went on to like the jumps course, which was like down Bryce Norton, which was like awesome. That was a great experience. And then once we got once your regiment, I was quite lucky because I was in an active time where like sort of Afghanistan, Iraq, or Middle East was like kicking off quite bad, so it was really active. So got lucky. I got my chance. Like to go out to like a tour like in the summer, like so it was brilliant. Like to be fair, like got to go out and experience that.
Was it a scary situation when you went out there?
It's sort of like you really want to do it. So like it was a buzz, and if I could go back with the same set of lads that I was with in the same year, I could do it in a heartbeat. And I always miss it as well because like it was like sort of that like sort of adrenaline, like just like that thing you could like never really replace, because it's always in your memories. But so I don't think like really like scared as such. It was sort of a lot of the things that happened out there, like good or bad, it doesn't really like sort of hit you till you like come home and like a couple of months back you think, oh, that was pretty mental, Brian. Like when you think like back to it, but when you're there, it's sort of like it just seemed normal. Like the way to explain it is like whatever your environment you're in, like as yourself, like some of the stuff you personally do is pretty crazy. But if your friends either side of you, when you like teamed up with whoever, like it probably didn't seem as crazy at the time. It seemed normal because he's doing it. So like when people left to right, we were in the same boat. So it didn't really sort of like dawn on you how crazy some of the stuff we went through was till we got back, if that makes sense. So you didn't really have like sort of time to be scared. And plus we got trained really like hard leading up to it. Free deployment training, we were getting like hammered, like drill. So it becomes like muscle memory. You know what I mean? So a lot of the.
Well, as soon as somebody says 1, 2, 3 this, 1, 2, 3 that, you know because you've done it that many times. So I was in the army for 2 years as a kid. I was a corporal, lance corporal. I did all the basic training, all that stuff. With the LMG lightweight machine guns, the Bren guns, the Graham Miles grenades.
Bren guns. That's going back a bit.
Yeah. Nice. We put 30 rounds to hell, but usually only put 28 because it's the jam. But they were good. There was good times. We'd go. They got you out of the house. You would go there twice a week, and you'd learn how to strip the firearm with the blindfold on and stuff like that. But it was good. It was pissed. Left turn, wheels, all that stuff, and we did that. It was good. It got us out of the house. It kept us out of trouble.
Yeah, it toughens you up mentally, and it puts you into. I think a lot of the young kids this day and age, Brian, you'll probably agree as well, they go down the wrong route. Like they can make brilliant soldiers. A lot of the good soldiers we work with, tend to be a bit of a loose cannon, I think, when they're younger. But if you put all that energy in a positive aspect, I think a lot of the youth lack a bit of discipline. I
was talking to an area pilot, and he said, people like you who are crazy make the best soldiers.
Yeah, they do,
Don't give a shit. They're not bothered about getting shot. The bad ones make the best. They're the war heroes. They have the medals on, he said, because they don't give a shit. They're straight in. But, with all that training, obviously you're in there. So that's your job, isn't it? It's just like any job you do. If you've been trained, you do it. But any friends, lost any friends out there? Did you lose anyone out there?
Well, I'm like sort of battle group as a whole, lost some people, and obviously a couple of people in a regiment when they previously went on the Herrick's, like got like really like seriously injured or. But, I was quite lucky to like say like no one really passed like to like sort of we're all like sort of brothers in arms, etc. So everyone's supporting that. But I was lucky that none of them are sort of like best friends or people that I generally sort of hang about. One of the close mates had like close call and things like that. But it's obviously people that like we're all in the same boat. So we did have people that obviously like KIA we say out there, like killed in action. That's like polite way of putting it when they're there. But none of it really like sort of bothered me like such. But one thing that did happen was when like I'm a big animal lover like yourself, Brian. When the Taliban like killed our like KIA'd our like dog and the dog handler, that sort of like was a bit of a sad moment like for everyone. But on that is
you still associate with the lads who you were in there? With still friends with them?
Yeah, there's quite a few of them I stay in touch with like quite regularly. To be fair, we've got it's a great like bunch of lads, like especially the Airborne lads who sort of go to the next sort of extreme on, just doing like crazy things. So they come used to have like these block parties, Brian, and I couldn't even explain anything on the podcast or things like that. Like with some of them type soldiers, they were just wild back then, and you could do a whole podcast just on that. And then I invited a few of them back for one my engagement party a few years ago, back like down my hometown. And there's an old tradition in the Airborne Force your viewers might not know. It's called like Naked Bar. So basically, at the end of the night, if one of the lads calls it, like everyone's just got to get naked. It's just one of the things all the lads used to like do. And then right at the end, we had people that was at the party can vouch for this. Like we had the photo like shoot sort of thing. I had like family members there, like my gran and all sorts of stuff. But they screwed the nut. Wait till sort of like the kids and that had gone during the day. Like it's all under control. And then at night time, that's when it become like nightmares. So it's not like going completely off rails. There's some sort of like screwing the nut to a certain extent. But they got naked. But everyone like just like found it hilarious. You mean in the photo booth and stuff. So I was staying in touch with them. But there's always a good banter. It's always a good laugh. Like professional soldiers, like some of the best soldiers you ever meet in your life. But then when they go on a night out, they're just like crazy, but like all good spirits. They're not harming. They're just like funny, isn't it? Like
What was it like? Yeah, looking after the president of America.
Well, that's fast forward a bit. After I got out of the military, I went down the route of like quite a few of the people a lot of the people I was in Afghanistan with, and the units went down the close protection route. Especially a few of them got some really good contracts out in Iraq, etc. Well, I think they said sort of put the mind to it and thought we can do a similar sort of job, but we get paid like 10 times the amount of money. Yeah. And when I say like 10 times the money, I'm not even exaggerating.
Bodyguard and someone type of thing.
Yeah. But it literally is like 10 times the amount of money. Like the money at that stage, was like it was going through the roof. It was like crazy amount of money. So I got into the close protection to get the more money really. But and then obviously answer your question, got into the president of the USA. That was like right down to the end of my career. That was sort of like the pinnacle of my career. That was like a great moment for me. Like, and that was to be a team leader as well was like just an experience I'll never forget. And it's like sort of like a bit of something cheesy. It was a bit of an honor, really. There's a level, Brian, I never thought I'd get, because in close protection world we always strive to be like the royal family or something. That's what you always got in your head. You want to get like a big name or an icon. Yeah. But like to actually land that one was like I didn't even think I'd ever like achieve that. So that was brilliant. That was.
Which president was it?
It was the current one at the minute was Joe Biden.
Right. Yeah. What was it like? Was it a bit? Was it good?
Yeah. Well,
everyone had buzzing off it.
Yeah, it didn't really. It wasn't really.
You got to remember, he's the most powerful man in the world.
Yeah, that's was it. Wasn't so much the person, because people dislike and like certain presidents stuff. I don't get told that political stuff. It was more the achievement of the seat. You know what I mean? It was like the fact that like who it was a seat. Yeah. But when he came in, Brian, it was something like a film. Honestly, when he had the air support coming down, I got such a good adrenaline rush. It was at night time when they got him into the hotel, etc. He had like snipers, a cat team. Sorry for viewers, that's a counter assault teams. He had had any vehicles coming in. It's all sniffer dogs going on it. Like no stone was left unturned. It was all like. Everything went like down to a T, apart from the only slight sort of mistake sort of thing, which made the papers, which means like it was quite funny, is when it was like they were going back to like the Air Force One, they like sort of miscalculated the fuel, so they didn't have much fuel, so they had to actually stop the Beast, which is also the vehicle that the president's in, sort of thing, and stop off at a BP garage in Edinburgh. And then,
I imagine the bloke serving it. It's the
yeah, it was all in the it was all in the papers and etc. and everything. But it wasn't the funniest thing that happened in the papers behind this.
Can you film me up?
Like this one, like typical Scotland fashion. A large Scottish man actually flashed the president his bits. So yeah, give him a good flash, like "Welcome to Scotland" sort of thing. But this is all like, dog. This is in the papers, etc. Any stories that say on these like podcasts, like are allowed sort of thing to security. I wouldn't say anything that's not documented because we call it like open source.
You never got any bits and bobs blow off.
Yeah. So anything that's open source, it's already been in the news and the paper, and you can Google this, and it would just come straight up. Something. So anything's open source, I can like. Anything that's not open source, I'll just keep it to myself.
Yeah, well, what we do, Ryan, me and my wife, we help a lot of army lads because we obviously feel sorry for the army when you go and people going about football has been, he's Wayne Rooney. Yeah, they're great players, on £1 million a week, and then there's this one and that one, and they're not heroes. The real heroes are servicemen and women like yourself who have served the country. They could die any second, not any minute, any second of the day they could be blown to pieces. They go over there, they're driving millions and millions of pounds with the tanks and the helicopters and all sorts. They come back in, they can't even get a job. They're just left on the streets. We helped a lad called Jamie. He was 13 years he was in the army. He come back. He was living on the street. He had no shoes. We got him some shoes. We got him in a place like a hostel. And you thought we got him like a card to talk to. And he talked to the other army lads, and we got him where they would all talk to each other and just helping something like that. And you'd think honest to God, he was crying on the phone because he couldn't speak these talks. So we got him some talk time. And then we got another lad in a hostel who was on heroin. He said he'd gone. He'd seen a young girl being killed over there. And he couldn't get out his head, and he was having nightmares. And he said it's the nightmares that affect you when you've been there and you've seen people killed because they keep replaying like a film in his head. So there's nothing here. They're coming home heroes to nothing, not even a job. I think it's really sad. Yeah,
because that was probably why you helped me out, or you wanted to get when you reached out to me to get on the podcast. You've seen like one of sort of like my stories that got like shared like recently.
Yeah,
like one of the experiences out there when like certain things happen, people can't really deal with it, but people take different like ways. Like you said, I've seen a lot of really good blokes go down that route. That was it. Jamie, did you say? Jamie went down. Lads. I've seen some really good blokes. Some people that you see go down that route, you'd never expect it because my memories of some of these lads, they were like animals. They were like training like 4 times a day. They were like in good shape, like they were funny, that good job. They were good with women. They were pulling lots of girls, and then like you see them like 10 years later or something, and you think like, oh, such a shame. I mean, you were like a proper like lad, and you had everything going for you, like good at sport, like everything. You wouldn't expect them to go like the route that they do. So.
I think
I know. I've seen it firsthand. Like, it's a shame on some of them lads, to be fair. But I never really suffered with anything like that, so I got away. But my tactics was, Brian. It wasn't even a tactic. It just come out of nowhere. I started when I got out of the military. I started getting into MMA. MMA became popular, mixed martial arts, and I found that like mixed martial arts was just the best thing in the world. And I got completely hooked on that, and I was doing it like daily, like. Not like ridiculously high level, I think, but just doing it was just like fascinating to me, and I got in that. But I thought so that was just good fortune. I think a lot of soldiers did something similarly, find something they could put all their energy into. They'd probably mentally be okay. So I did it. I found that. So and then to pay for my training, because I was going here, there, everywhere, all over the country training, like find these gyms. Like got really into it. I mean, I was going to all these different Thai box gyms and like. Grappling gym, jiu-jitsu, I was going here, there, everywhere. So I needed to fund that. So I jumped on the doors as well, just to earn a bit of cash. I never really was like my goal to be a doorman sort of thing. It was just a bit of extra cash, and it helped me keep on the straight and narrow as well. So it means I couldn't, when I was on shift at the weekends, I couldn't take drugs, I couldn't drink, I couldn't like go party, like not like I would anyway. So it kept me away from that. And it was sort of was little bit similar to the military. Like we was part of a team. We put ourselves in a bit of a dangerous situation. We had each other's backs, and it was nowhere near like the level of what would be like out on like tour sort of thing. It was probably like literally 10%, but a couple of the aspects were like quite similar. So I think without even meaning to, I was quite lucky. A lot of things I got involved with sort of like kept my mental health really like good. Like,
because what you were doing is occupy your mind. When you're occupying your mind doesn't. When you're sitting saying, "Oh, this happened and that happened and this," and because you're going through it over and over, and you keep thinking the bad memories every day, you're going to have bad memories the next day and the next day and the next day. You've got to stop thinking the bad memories, and they'll stop you being ill. Because if you keep the bad stuff every day, you're going to keep getting ill and ill and ill. and just sit in the house and just.
Yeah, because you've been there yourself, haven't you, Brian? Like when you sort of like your depression, it just sort of spirals out of control. It's something bad goes in your life, and
in yourself, and you're not even living. You're just existing, and that's why we were talking about Tyson Fury the other week. And Frank Bruno and Tyson Fury, with myself, Mike Tyson, coming out and saying, "Look, I suffered. I was on drugs. I was depressed. I was sitting in the house. I was suicidal." And for us to come out, big names like us, it's helping other people. There's a lot more tougher people than me out there. But they're sitting and suffering in silence because they think, "Oh, I'm not saying I've got mental health problems." But they don't want to. It's like a bit of a, "No, you can't say that." Get a job. Like my mum, when you would say you're depressed, she'd say, "Get out and get a job." Or, but that's old way of thinking. It's the 21st century, and everything's out there now where depression is rife, especially with this lockdown. How have you been with the lockdown? How do you cope with it?
To be fair, it was quite strange at the start because, like I said at the start of the podcast, being an outdoor person, like being inside was a bit crazy. Like because they were like with like Netflix and stuff. I'd never watched Netflix once in my life till before the lockdown happened. So I was just always outdoors in the gyms and stuff. I think the gym shutting was that was like the hit the worst sort of thing. But it was just like just one of the things where you just like sort of had to crack on. Like, and then I think it might have sent some of the other lads like a lot worse than me. It wasn't good for the mental health and even the physical health for people. But it might have helped out some other people that wasn't into fitness because a lot of people got into like home fitness or. Yeah. So I think it's just on the individual. But for me, I didn't like it at all because I like being an outdoor sort of thing. Is that the same for you, Brian? You didn't enjoy it, I take it. I don't think anyone did really, did they?
No, I had no choice at this time because of the injuries I had. But what I did like you. I put my mind into training. I got the podcast up and running. We saved 52 people committing suicide. We've done two books. We've got another 2 books on the way now. We're doing documentaries. It's just never ending now. We've just it's just gone mad. And because we're probably the only positive channel on the YouTube channels, everyone's come to watch our channel now because it's positive, positive. You get all the others that are he said, he said. But all that does, that negativity, what they're pushing out, gets you negative. We were talking to Matt Legg, the boxer, and he said, I was watching some of them. He said, get up the next day depressed and started watching. He said, I started watching yours and Emma. Get happy and go to work happy where the other ones, when they're all calling each other, it's like watching a horrible film in the middle of the night where some little kid gets killed or something. You go into bed.
We want this just like this chat, like being like trying to keep a positive sort of thing.
Yeah,
so it was like a good thing. And then your original documentary did really well on the YouTube. It had like over 4 million views and stuff, didn't it? Like,
that was crazy days.
The old Brian. And then when that event, when I seen you last, when it was up north, like
Newcastle,
Newcastle way, like the day before, like John Fury was there. Did you get a chance to speak to him, or did you not cross paths with him?
No, John's going to come on the show. We've already spoken.
Because he's like good for that.
Yeah.
He said about the mental health with his son, actually.
Because he does mental health as well, the same as us, and he's really good. So we just want.
I love it up Newcastle. Like all the boys up there. It was like brilliant.
Jed was there. Ramel, his house help to say his name. He was there. You were there. We had a good night, didn't we? Having a laugh with everyone and messing. It was a shame
that it shut because the COVID was shut at 10 o'clock. But then we all went back to one of the Save's houses afterwards, and we had a good catch up there. But it was good. It was good night. I like it up anyway up north, but like where you're from, like do a Teesside sort of thing. You get like quite a lot of tough people up there back in the day because
you do.
I know quite a few like football hooligans from the casuals from back in the day, and one thing they always say, like, because they don't mention much in the films and all that because it's all like a lot of it. Some of the other teams get a lot of the publicity, but if you speak to quite a lot of the old boys, like in the 80s and 90s all through, they all say that when Middlesbrough away, they say like literally that was like one of the worst nights you have. Like they said, like Middlesbrough away, they said it was a nightmare. Like on the terraces, they always had a good reputation. It's quite tough people.
Yeah, I think it's because they worked on the docks and were tough people, and they just where we were. It wasn't nice in the 80s. It was your fists. You had a problem. Go right. I'll meet you on the beach. You'd come with your brother or something, or your mate. I'd come with someone. We'd have a fight. Whoever knocked each other out, shake hands, go for a drink, and forgot about. But now there's 20 on the one. I don't see the glory in how 20 people can beat one person and get glory out of that. You have a problem with someone, you have it with them one-to-one. You don't go to people's houses. You don't go to where the family are. Old school. You have it out somewhere on a field or something. There's no police about. And you shake hands afterwards. That's the
old codes and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what it was like back in your day, wasn't it, Brian?
Yeah.
Good, like
people have lost that the morals and that code and that and respect for each other. Where now they'll jump from 5 or 6 people, jump one person, we beat him up. What, 5 years? Just doesn't make sense to me, that. But I just like the old school morals, and like when we were kids, like I say, we were out playing all day. We were like doing things like going to the beach, we go to the swimming baths, we go to the pictures, we'd always be doing something. Where now, kids will phone their friends. I'd walked in my mates, it was 2 miles to his house and 2 miles back home, where it was nothing when you're like 14, 15 year old. But now they won't walk anywhere. Kids will either phone each other up on the phone, or the same as people in the gym. When I trained in the gym, I got from 12 stone to 24 stone in 6 years. But I trained like an animal. I was there 3 times a day, 6 days a week, trained. We never had phones. We weren't talking on the phone, checking selfies every 2 minutes. We were pushing ourselves. And in them gyms then, people in the 80s, it was, the bodybuilding was high then because everyone was into it. It was like Schwarzenegger movies, it was Arnold movies, and everyone was into training. And it was like the golden era of training. So everyone was training, running up hills, or boxing. There was more street fighters then than ever. So you had to be really tough then because everyone was wanting to be the best street fighter where we lived. So you had to be on your game because there was that many good fighters.
Yeah, when I spoke to you last, back in your prime, when you said some of the weights you used to lift was like ridiculous. You used to lift like some ridiculous weights, Brian. Like,
yeah, people always thought I was making it up, but now it's on you. I was telling the truth. But you always get
naysays, don't you? People that just like, got something negative to say and everything. But I think I was born in the wrong era. Like your sort of like generation when you was in your prime. I quite like the way people were back then. You mean like have a straight fight, or just the manners, like treat women with respect, or everything. Just in general, just seems like the old school code seems to lost its way a bit recently. But it sounds like brilliant. You know what I mean, like back in them days, how it was like. And
a lot of the kids now, especially in America, they tell the mum and dads how to live. There's no discipline no more. We were at school, used to get the cane, you used to get discipline, you have to stay in the house. Now when they say get to your bedroom, they've got satellite telly, mobile phones, PlayStations, and all these different games they've got. So there's no deterrent now. Whether before you got grounded for a weekend, you just be in your bedroom. We only had one telly in the whole house of 7 of us. There was just one telly. There was only 3 television programs: BBC One, BBC Two, and Time T. You only had 3 programs, and we watched them. And now they've got 1,000 going shit all the way. It's just
that's like reminded me when I was 16 when I first went in military and regiment. I had like culture shocks. I was being so young, like it was straight in a man's world. Like one of the things I did is like out of like habit, Brian. When someone passes something, like I said, like cheers, mate. So like when one of the sergeants was like giving out something, I can't remember what it was. Like as we were leaving like the cookhouse, like for something to eat, like one of the sergeants like proper like hardcore sergeant, he passed me it and I said, "Oh, cheers, mate." And before I said it, I was like, "Oh no!" And then he was just like, "Mate," and then like what? And then he just grilled me, and then it just went on for ages. It never stopped. I just got like absolute grill. I was outside, just get absolute beasted for ages. I couldn't even I believe I said it. Like you always remember your worst like beastings in the military, but I think the worst one I did was when you're supposed to like clean these like pots or something. You call it like Dixies, and one of them, my pals at the time, we was down on the list, but I think we thought we could just get away with it, or like they weren't going to check. I can't remember how it like came about. But basically, cut long story short, we just thought we just chinned it off, and then when we like when it found out, I think it was a mix-up where we didn't think we was on it, but our name was on the list, or we didn't see it, and then we got like took out on this like volleyball court out in the desert, like, and we went really climatized on that, and we had these jerry cans back forward, like. I just got ragged by this like Scottish PTI for ages. Like his sergeant said, just like keep hammering them. It just never stopped. I was seeing stars. Boy, I was literally like about to faint any second. It just kept going and going and going. So yeah, I know it's like you learn fast. Do you know what I mean? Like from young age, like you just think that you got that discipline, and the kids like they don't really. You can't really like do anything like that now, can you? Like sort of,
they wouldn't do it. They just say, "Fuck off," and walk off.
Some of the stuff that happened to us, we get jailed for that now. And then to be fair, that's not me acting the big man as well, because there's levels to it. Because people in World War One would have looked what like I went through and thought that was soft. Do you know what I mean? And then like a Spartan warrior back in ancient times, you'd look like for what a guy that World War One went through and think that was soft. Do you know what I mean? So, but it's just at the minute it's just been filtered down, and what it's like levels just seems to be getting like softer and softer and softer. Like, but yeah, like it It was good memories. You never forget it today. I'll never forget when we called that sergeant on my first day's mate, and then that one time I didn't clean that pot. But I'll never forget that. I just absolutely hammered like for hours. It just doesn't stop. Like you think you just like,
remember that the blocks used to make with your sheeting and your thing. If you got that wrong, they'd rip it and throw it all over. We went away for 2 weeks. Dundee, we went camping there with the army. So a couple of hundred of us went, and we went on the train and everything. And we
nice and cold for you.
I went there, and it was freezing cold, and it was red hot, and marching about. And then we messed about one night, and we were marching at 5 hours in the rain, just with our underwear on, marching with a pair of underpants on, freezing cold, start marching because we all kicked off in the billets and messed about. And you get hammered. And one time we're supposed to do the floor, and we just mopped it over. That would be all right. I went, what the fucking hell is that cockerel? What's that? What is that? So they give me a toothbrush and a fucking cup of water and bleach. And he had to scrub the floor with a toothbrush about 20 feet by 20 feet. We were in there for hours scrubbing the floor with a toothbrush. That was the army. But they teach you discipline. And when you got it wrong the first time, you didn't get it wrong the second time because you knew you'd have to do the floor or something like that. So it was very good.
Yeah, it definitely works. Like back in the old days, like when the Borstal schools, that seemed to like that was before my time, but like I think that sort of like worked as well, didn't it? Well, it seems to like.
Yeah, I think it's crazy at the minute. This knife campaign, we're trying to do like anti-knife campaign across the country, but when we were kids, we never seen anyone carry a knife. We'd see people having fights. We never hardly seen anyone take drugs. I never seen anyone smoke drugs or take cocaine or anything. When I in the 70s, you never heard of it. You had seen people have a drink, you see them smoking a bag, things like that. That would be the biggest thing, but you never heard of it, and you never heard of people getting stabbed every day of the week. Now it's just kind of like quite infectious. People getting stabbed where we live in Teesside. Every day of the week, somebody gets stabbed, or every week somebody gets killed.
Yeah, it's getting more popular than life, man. Definitely, I think like everywhere. Like you always hear it, you always see it on social media, like Facebook, someone or something that's happened. And what you said about the drug culture as well, like that's just like normal now, like 2022. Like if you work the doors now, like just like if people like it's just like normal, it's just like sort of accepted now. Like it's nothing. Yeah, but each their own. Like don't look down as long as no one's getting harmed and that. Just like I don't know, just like, people just do whatever they like feel best. But it's just never really been my scene personally. You know what I mean?
No, it's just like people carry knives to this couch because they can't fight. If you carry a knife, you can't fight. As simple as that. So if you carry a knife as well, when you take someone's life, you don't just take their life. You take the whole family. You take your own life because you're in jail for 25 years. And then you don't see your kids growing up, your mum and dad stuff, your brothers, your sisters. So when you take someone's life, you're taking all them other lives with you because you've killed someone. And you might be tough and hard at 18, 19, 20 when you do it. But when you get older, it comes back in. Nearly every single person I've talked with anti-knife campaign, people have done like 20 years and 30 years in jail. I've always regretted what they've done.
They do great, yeah.
I mean, I spoke to 3 kids in jail. And I said, how long was it before you stabbed someone, killed them? They said 2 seconds. The next one said 2 seconds. The next one said 2 seconds. I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 75 years. But for 6 seconds, they were doing 75 years in jail.
Yeah, like, 6 seconds of madness.
6 seconds, exactly. 6 seconds. Think before you do anything. You know, the worst thing you can do is go out with a knife. Because what happens, you end up getting drunk, taking drugs, get beat up in a fight. So you'll turn on the person, stab them, or they'll take the knife off you and stab you. But if you don't have the knife, you might get a good iron or you might bust somebody's nose, but you can recover from that. But you can't. You kill someone, so I just don't think anyone should carry knives at all.
Yeah, you're quite anti-knife sort of man, aren't you?
Yeah. It's just I like to say, get yourself to the gym. We were talking to Matt Legg the other night, we were talking to Norman Buckland. It's brilliant discipline, like you say, even the army's great, even the army cadets is great. Get into somewhere like that and just get into a sport or something. Instead of just hanging around in gangs, because these people hang around gangs, these kids on the corner, you see them, 40 and 50 in a gang, intimidating old people. We wouldn't do that. When we were kids, we'd walk past somebody and open the door for somebody or help them with a shopping. We'd be on a bus and be a lady pregnant with that belly out here, you'd stand up and let her sit down. There's no the manners, we'd open the door for people and you'd just be polite. There's a lot of manners are done now. It's just they've just got that culture where they're really cheeky, the kids.
Yeah. It's like when you meet the old school criminals like yourself, because I know you know them as well. Like when you like Freddie Foreman, etc. He doesn't like swear in front of everyone, and if there's a lady present, like everyone treats her with respect, etc. And like the old school manners, like. But I know what you're saying with that people are like really nice. I don't think they really like know what they're doing with them as well, especially if like people are trained with it. Because I know people like in the close protection world that like train with it. Like it takes like certain cuts at like certain like places, like a quarter of an inch on the wrist, if like they know what they're doing to like make people bleed out like 2 minutes. But some people, when they get like sort of stabbed multiple times and the person doesn't die, it just like shows that they don't know what they're doing. It's not obviously like not a good or bad thing, but they're obviously like not put in the right place, etc. They just like don't really know what they're doing. They just like watch too many like sort of rap videos, etc. But at the end of the rest makes it a decent blade in the right hands of a skilled operator that's like knife trained. It can be like it could be even more deadly than a gun. They can take people out quite fast, sort of thing. It's a really like lethal weapon, the blade, if you know what you're doing with it.
Yeah, you train obviously with it. You know what you're doing. But so what are you doing these days then?
A bit of everything really. I've injured my MCL on my knee at the minute, so I'm out of training, so I'm gutted. So that's why I'm doing a couple of these podcasts that people have approached us to, because I'm sort of like a bit I can't really train properly because I've done my knee. It's like 4th time I've done it, so it's getting a bit bad on the old knee at the minute. So, but I'm doing on Wednesdays and Saturdays. I've been doing like a bit of acting classes, Brian. So, and hoping to maybe get into a few more like feature films or get on that side of things. Like now, So
you've already done a film, The Foot Soldier, haven't you?
Yeah, I did like the last like the Foot Soldier. I've got another one.
Who was in that with you?
What, as in like the acting or
like
I think Vinnie Jones is the most credible one that you probably heard of.
Yeah, Vinnie Jones.
Yeah, so that was like pretty cool.
What was he like, Vinnie Jones? Was he?
Yeah, it was like just like down there, just like cool guy.
Where was Brian in Afghanistan, and what was regiment he was in? Stuff like that. So
people are asking what regiment were you in, whereabouts in Afghanistan were you at?
I was on the comments. I didn't know. I was
Everyone doing them, but it saves us doing them.
We was down. I thought the boss was telling you what to do, Brian. Like we was based in like southern Afghanistan, Helmand province, and it was like like FOB Inkerman, like FOB, stands for like Forward Observation Base. So we was like down at Inkerman like 2008, like all for summer. But luckily that was like one of the like well, it was probably the most active one. So it was like there's quite a lot like going down there. But 16th Air Assault Brigade they had people like all over really. So you like flew out from Bastion and then you go out to which FOB you got given to. So when our lads got given the FOB Inkerman, it was like pretty cool. Really. It was a good one to go to.
Was it scary?
No, he wasn't scared because he was trained.
It was. Yeah, what was it's weird. Like it's one of the questions you can't really like answer because I'm not gonna lie and say when I was scared, but it was sort of like a buzz. It sort of like enjoyed it really. Like I sort of wanted to do it. Like sort of I don't know if like I was wired up a bit like different. Like where I enjoyed it where I shouldn't have, but then like if you talk to a lot of the people that
were my documentaries,
they're all like wired up the same way as well. Like it was like this sounds like ridiculous to some of you, but it was like the best time of life. I absolutely loved it. Like so, just I don't know, like just
adrenaline and stuff. And
people just got different like DNA. People were just interested in things, but I loved it. Like it was the best time of life. But the people left to right of me, we all wanted to go. Everyone that was like with us, if you talk to them, they say it was the best time of their lives as well. I don't know, just different people all over the country are just not really wired up properly together. Just like show it all together and off you go, sort of thing.
They're at the parachute regiment, aren't they? We knew stuff where you used to be corporal in it.
Yeah, we know quite a few lads in the parachute.
Winston Churchill sort of made the airborne soldiers. He said some sort of like quote like saying they're just a bunch of like thugs really, or just people that cause like chaos, like controlled chaos behind enemy lines sort of thing. Like weren't really, but they're all good lads. I think they're all cut from the same cloth really. They're all like into fitness, enjoyed sports, and a lot of them are people who just like hang about with. Like anyway, they're good. And to be fair, they're good people. Like to know as well. Like no one was bullies. It was just all sort of
all helping each other.
It was all under control. Like you mean like and then.
Well, how did you get from the army then from there to into films?
Yeah, that's a weird one really. Well, when I met one of the directors, I was out on Marbella, like to be fair, for one of the premieres to one of the previous ones, and was in Babylona Bar down Port Venus and stuff, and a lot of like the actors were there with the pre-party sort of thing. One of the security firms that I've like, worked with before, they were like looking after close protection, little bodyguard, like someone that was out there anyway. And then and one of the guys in the company knew one of the actors really well, and then it was just right place, right time. And then they were just had a few drinks and whatnot, and having a good laugh. And then when they said, "Oh, well, next time we'll get a chance to get through in," sort of thing, like, that was it. But I didn't really sort of take it like too serious sort of thing. Because about a year and a half later, when I got the email, I didn't think, because they were like on it like party animals sort of thing, I didn't think they'd remember the conversation in the morning, Brian, let alone like a year and a half down the line. You know what I mean? Yeah. Then when I got the emails it had like a name that we wouldn't. It was like like a Chinese name sort of thing, or an Asian sort of name. So it was like a really like long weird name. So I thought it was just like, is this even real? Like when I got like the email, because it wasn't like a British name. It was like a name I never heard of before. So I was like, what's this? I thought it was like the lads like having me on sort of thing. But we went down to Essex, down like Southend, and did the filming. And I did quite a lot of filming. Like it's weird actually, because I've never experienced it before. Like you do like so much filming. So when you go back to Corby, I was like, oh, I thought I was going to be in like loads of bits or thing. When they did the editing, they edit like so much out, because filming's I think it was a month. They spent filming the whole film, and then they spent 10 months editing. So it's like so much like time they spend editing. Like like one of the main scenes I was in, one of the bits that was like when I bottled it, the barman, it sort of didn't like go to plan, etc. But they wiped that like sort of whole scene out. So you don't. That's what I was sweating a bit at the premiere. I was thinking, I better actually be in it now. I better not cut absolutely everything out. But I went down Leicester Square for the premiere, and that was brilliant after COVID, because it was the first film that he did. Like second was the James Bond, but they managed to get in there first to be the first premiere one after the COVID that got done down London. So that was
pretty big stars there, those stars.
There was I was here, there, everywhere. There was loads like sort of random like people there. They always are them sort of premieres, red carpet events, but I didn't get too sucked into it. Like you always get like random people there, like sort of thing. People like Love Island and like the Towies, and random people out as well, sort of thing, trying to get a bit clickbait sort of thing. I didn't really know like too many of them. I just remember being when you had to walk down the red carpet bit, like when I had all like the flashing lights sort of thing, paparazzi. It felt like back in the box days, someone would give me a big left hook, Brian. It's probably like someone like, if you uppercutted me in your prime, that's probably what I wasn't really used to it, all that. But it wasn't really like, it was a good experience, I think. It wasn't really for me, because sometimes I don't really like the limelight. Like it was sort of like strange to be on the other side of it. It's normally our team's like protecting people that are A-listers, and they get a lot of paparazzi things. So normally I'm stood in the corner, like letting them get a bit. So it was strange. I was like roles reversed for just like one day only, one night only.
We switched the mirror around, didn't it? So you're on the other side now.
It would be like too professional. Like, because normally we see it firsthand what it's like to live sort of a celebrity lifestyle. But in all honesty, when you work with a few of the A-listers, etc., like sometimes you look at that and think, I'm not sure whether like they'll be as glamorous as people think, or we'd actually want that sort of lifestyle. Do we get like no peace at all, especially if someone's like a really, really big name, they get like absolute like swarm sort of thing. And I find if they've been famous for a long time, that's when they really start to get sick of it. Like it's all right in the first year or two that it's sort of cool sort of thing. But if you ever work close protection with someone who's been famous for like 30, 40 years, you can see the difference. They're like literally like they're completely had enough of it.
Thunder and glasses.
They've completely had enough of it. Like that's why they actually hire us, because they just don't want the. They're just like sick to death.
Who's the most famous person who you've looked after then?
Well, aside obviously the president's mail, I think like for sort of like
security type of thing.
For a fan base, I think off the top of my head, like we worked with Sir Cliff Richard once, because he was like a really big name, but he has been for even now. But then he's been knighted, etc. So I reckon off the top of my head, like Sir Cliff Richard is definitely one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, did you get to speak to him?
A bit sort of thing. But like I think like he was one of the examples I was sort of in my head that I was thinking of, and I explained it because he's been like famous for so long. He sort of was like sick of it, but some of the events I enjoyed more, because we did a bit of work with like WWE. But the actual job for that was a lot better, like when you're like moving around, etc. But or if you get to go on like backstage with them, you get to see what they're really like. But some of them are like really down to earth. They'll surprise you how down to earth they are. Like I remember working with a certain client, and I won't name, but he sort of has a bit of a joke about it as well. Like, because when the girl's like nearly fainting over and fainting, he just turned around and said, "Just I don't understand it either." He, like, isn't especially if they grew up from a council estate themselves, because some of them, you see a big difference in the people that have like born into the fame, or if they've lived like a fairly normal life and become famous later on, or if they've won the X Factor. We've worked for a few people without naming names that won the X Factor. You can see the difference in them, because they're like it's sort of still a bit of a shock to them, because they've lived a normal life for so long, and then they've suddenly become famous in such a short space of time. Like, they've gone from that to, like, if you win the X Factor, you're straight up there, like in like such a short space of time. It's sort of like,
and some people can't handle it, Ryan, can they? Because the fame goes to the head a little bit, and they can't handle it. I mean, remember Rick Ashley, brilliant singer. He had 6 for one in a row, and he ended up going a bit low because he was like a very quiet person. And everywhere he went, there was people in the chaos every day, non-stop taking pictures and wanting interviews and talking to him. So it's not as always people want to be these movie stars now, but it's not as easy as you think. I mean, like you said, I did the documentary. It took 4 months of filming and 6 months of cutting the editing it, because now you just do them in a day now. Well, a proper documentary takes 22 hours, 21 to 22 hours of filming. In that 22 hours, you might film 5 hours, you might only use 1 minute. Bro, you bits in that, they'll take that out, take this in, and they'll put that in, put that out, and you think, well, what was the point of all that? And you'd be filming for months and months, going all over, and 90% of it you don't even see.
Going back on that, we said, well, when someone like becomes famous, they can't really handle it. I think sometimes it's like with anyone really, like your sports athletes, when they reach like their goal sort of thing, like then they have like a big like downfall crash after that. Sometimes reaching your goal can actually be like your downfall, etc. Because I was like worried for that. Well, not worried, but I felt the difference in that when I did the job with attached to like the Secret Service, like in America, well, for the president sort of thing, like out of the world experience, like something I never thought I'd get a chance to do. When I went back to do some other jobs, like looking after some boy bands and some people out where normally it would be like really like get a good buzz out of that, which is cool sort of thing. But like I didn't sort of the buzz sort of thing like went down sort of thing. So that's happened a bit of a downfall in the military career as well, Brian, to be fair, because once we've been to Afghanistan, when we and it kicked off and like certain things have happened and they had that adrenaline sort of rush, like when you get back and you start in the UK and you start doing like the practice drills and the exercise drills, it's sort of like that sort of spark sort of like goes. I know I mentioned as well, because we said about earlier, because like you plugged him earlier about the Tyson Fury, like when he wanted to beat Klitschko, that was his goal for like, pretty much most of his life, and when he achieved it, that's when the downward swell happened. So I think like that you're right, like it can be your downfall as well. People can't really handle when certain like things happen.
When you hit the pinnacle, the top, start coming down, that's when some people can't handle that, because the
it's something strange really, because some other people can handle the fame like brilliantly. It doesn't affect at all. Like I don't think someone like Justin Bieber or someone, he was famous as a kid. You think, he might went off the rails, but they keep like David Beckham was like a superstar for so long. He managed to keep everything under the wraps, and some of them handle it like there's some people that don't handle it. But on the flip side, some people handle it like really well, I think, as well. It's just the personality, isn't it? Like,
I think sometimes, like when you first get in, the first time you're in the paper and you've got that much written about you, I'm in the paper, and you can't tell them when you're in the newspaper because you're excited. The first time, then you're in the double spread, then you're in the Daily Mirror, then you're in this one, then that one. But when you come in like a local paper, you're like, you don't even tell anyone because it's not a buzz no more, because you've been in national papers, you've done national documentaries. I mean, the Taxman's been seen all over the world. Another one with Good Nation with Ron Moore, that's a national one, all by dispatches. So when you do them big, massive ones, the little ones you do don't mean that much when you do like it's the local one type of thing. So it's not a big thing. But to normal people who've never done it, they're excited. Well, I've done a documentary, and they get a buzz out of it. But to me, it's like I do it for work. You have to work, but it's not the big thing. We're doing another book now, the Taxman with Lee Wortley. We're doing the new one now. We're doing the training book, because obviously I've been 35 is it, odd years I've trained. Trained since I was 13, so there's 40 odd years of training there, sorry. So we've got that book on with as well. That'll be coming out this year as well. So
brilliant, your books have always done well. But then with that, then if you don't really get the buzz so much of certain things after doing that, then Brian, what would get the buzz for you? Who would sort of you get starstruck by? Who would be your person you meet where you'd like you'd love to meet out of anyone in the world? Who would be your sort of person?
It's because you meet them, and I met Phil Taylor, one of the best art player ever lived. Yeah. they're more excited about meeting you than you are them. And I say, well, why me? Because you've actually done what you've done. We're just actors. You've done it. You fought this one. You've done that. You've been shot. You've been stabbed. You've been hit with this, done that. You're still here. You've taxed. No one else done what you've done. So the new thing now, everyone wants to see the movie, the Brian Cockle movie. Everyone keeps asking about it and talking about it. So I think that's going to happen in the next few years. That's going to be a big thing. But I'm just we just like helping people, Brian. Helping people, young kids come on and get in trouble. We go into schools. We talk to kids not to do what I've done. Do the training what I've done. Get into boxing. Don't do the street fighting. Get yourself an education, because education is the most finest thing. If you're educated, education is power.
Yeah, so, people love your stories and that. You've got a lot to give back to the youth, sort of thing. People love all them sort of stories, because like money comes and goes, but like achievements or like stories, etc. That's what like life's all about, really. Like that's what people want.
And I never ever disrespect. If anyone wants a picture of me, there'll be 30 kids sometimes I've come out of school. I'll be stood there 20, 30 minutes getting pictures taken. But every kid will get a picture of me, because I won't say no to someone. And I always be polite to everyone. I'll be courteous and nice to people. But I think when you're nice to people, people are nice back to you. But when you're miserable and horrible, if you're going to be an actor, you've got to take that rough the smooth. You're going to have people come up taking pictures of you, because you're a celebrity and that's what you want to strive to be. Now you've been that celebrity, you've got to give back to the fans. You can't say no, you can't have a picture. You've got to stand up there and let them take the pictures of you, because that's part and parcel of being famous.
Yeah, exactly that. So hopefully that all goes well for you in the film, and
etc. So what you're going to be doing next then? What you strive to be? Just get the acting.
Well, that's sort of more sort of like hobby something. I didn't think that as a career. I still like obviously doing MMA, but like it's not really sort of like like professionally, like sort of go down to feed the family. So obviously the close protection like brings in like most money. So I sort of like stick to that. So I'm just striving to be the best CPO that I can be. I've got like some really good like jobs coming up. Obviously for security reasons, I can't say what it is, but I'm just gonna just crack on with that. Just stay fit and healthy, like health as well from lots of stuff, and just get back. I still love the MMA as much as like when I first started off as a kid. I always have martial arts, so I have a space in my heart. So I'll just do that, and then I do the security as my sort of money earner. So do the MMA is like keeps me alive and happy and mental health well and everything. And I do like security for the income for family, etc.
Oh, brilliant.
So what's your future plans that you've got?
We do the two new
podcast.
Yeah, the podcast is coming on really good. We help loads of people. We help people with mental health. We're doing an anti-AIDS campaign. We just would be with the injuries. I haven't been able to get about, and with the COVID being on, the last the place I was at was when I seen you and Jed and Rumble.
Oh, was that the last one?
Yeah.
You did? Oh, right, okay.
I've done school since then. I've done school, and you go into the kids' schools and talk to kids not to take drugs and not to get into drugs and carry knives and stuff like that. So we're doing that. It's good. I'm going to meet the mayor next week. Got another thing with the mayor because that's coming off. We've got another mayor in Hartlepool, so we're doing stuff for them because they want us to help them. So everything's starting to go really good now. Just like we do, we help people on our channel with mental health, help people how to train, and that's all we do now, mate.
People are asking about the president. Was he started?
He said, he's done all that, haven't you?
Yeah, they're just asking about it online. So.
Yeah.
Oh, what was the question? Sorry.
People are saying, "Will you starstruck with the president?"
No, not really. Well, to be fair, the story with that as well. Like, when I went on to the job, I didn't know I was with the USA at all till when I first went on the job. I was just a normal CPO, and then on the first day, one of the team leaders, he knew me and him shared a mutual friend in conversation that worked in Afghanistan and the British Embassy on the CP circuit, and then he I think he rubber stamped me. He said, "Oh, he's a good lad." He said, "Well, I don't know how the conversation went, but it must have went pretty well because he went, oh, you can be like my 2IC." Then the next day he had to go back to the cruise ship. We had to go off task for whatever reason back to the cruise ship in Glasgow because this was in Edinburgh. So we went back in Glasgow, and then when they got me outside, the area managers, the other guy was a good lad, the ex-Foreign Legion lad from the day shift sort of thing. He said, "Oh, how do you fancy stepping up to the team leader?" So that was brilliant. And then there was 100 world leaders there. You could have got tasked to any of them. Yeah, I got the USA, so I literally got the best one. So I was buzzing. So it was a bit of a good fortune, luck, like as well, sort of thing. It wasn't just the skill level. I sort of was in the right place at the right time as well to get on it. But I wasn't so much like starstruck. It's just like I was sort of like happy. I got more starstruck at the end because the team leaders at the end they give a it's on my socials. They give me a coin. The Secret Service did at the end to say thank you on the last day. They give me a coin, and one of the lads did, and one of the other lads give me a pin badge. So I think to say thank you. So I've got them in the house. So that meant more to me than anything. Sort of thing. Like so, like that was better than like anything. Like so, just getting them that awarded. Well, wasn't awarded, but just give it to in person. Something was brilliant. So them two lads are like thank from the Secret Service. So I wouldn't name them, but they probably have like fake names anyway. I didn't know the real names, but to work with that is like it's brilliant.
Yeah, did you work with them a lot? The Secret Service, or just the one?
We was like attached to them for the ops sort of thing, like for the tasking. Right. But that's another reason why it was so good because you have to be like an American citizen and you have to be born in America and go for all the. When I was talking to all the lads that isn't, they'd been working for Secret Service for 18 years, sort of thing. So they had to like work up to get there. And then because I'm not American citizen, there's no chance I could have like worked there because they're like best in the business. So I mean, they're like they're the kiddie sort of thing. So I was like a sponge as well, Brian. Like watching them how I like learned so much, like more than everything I did in my whole career. Like watching how they do things, and it literally was like they left no stone unturned. It was like being in a film when they got all the TVs out, like so it wasn't bugged. Like all the drain pipes were done, and then they had like a little decoy like systems because a lot of the public thought that's on the media. There's no footage of them coming in at night time to the hotel. It was only when they're leaving during the day because they thought they were going to stay in Glasgow because the event was in Glasgow in a 5-star hotel at Glen Eagles. But we slipped them off 4 miles from the airport from Edinburgh to only a 4-star hotel. So they didn't. The public didn't really expect it. But they even made the old wine cellar at the hotel into a nerve cell. So they had all like the camera sort of thing. We had like snipers there. Everything was all out, and then
every single thing you can think of.
Yeah, even the vehicle the vehicle itself that Trump invented like a couple of years ago. No, it was 2018 that Trump invented that vehicle, like the Beast. That's got everything in itself. Like it's got all the weapons, rocket grenade launchers at the front. It's even like you can even drop oil slicks if anyone's following. It's got it holds the president's blood as well if in emergency if you need their blood. It's got
you can think of like science fiction, isn't it? Really, what the
is that vehicle is like the most armored like vehicle like military. It's you can't stab vehicles. It's like even if a nerve agent goes into, they can seal the doors and it's got a whole. You can list like absolutely like loads of stuff like on it sort of thing. Like it's even the vehicle was brilliant. That's why in that picture that they had like when I got spotted on BBC News and the Sun newspaper like when the Beast like drove past the sort of thing. I was like standing there. I was like, it was a great moment. Really. I was just there's the Beast. Like when you sign up to sort of close protection where it's like that's sort of like dreams come true, really. Like it's like something like that.
You reach your pinnacle, then haven't you? You can't get any higher than the president's the most powerful man. The American president's the most powerful man on the planet.
Yeah, the amount of money they spent looking after it for that short like time that he was there. And how much went into it.
How many do they travel with? How many Secret Service does the president travel with? Is there a big team of them?
Well, he had his personal team that drive. He has like a vehicle, the vehicles that go, and I can't remember the vehicles. It was documented. We had this like the convoy. He had all the motorbikes and then all the like vehicles like all together. But a lot of the work that gets done, like they go to the nest or whatever, like the place like beforehand, and they like set everything up. That's where a lot of the challenge is the planning and the route planning and from the airport sort of. That's what it is like. That's what I see.
They're prepared to go on there. Yeah,
because people think like even in our work, the closed section work, it's just like who's got the best muscle, who's got the best like head kick, and who's got the best like stranglehold sort of thing. And that's what part of thing. But to be fair, that's like quite low down the list of like what makes like someone like good at that sort of line of work. Because like you have to like when you route planning, like you have to make sure you go in the right the right direction and stuff.
I mean, there's nowhere near as big as yours, but we worked the doors. There'd be 10 of us on one door or something. There'd be 2 at the back door, 2 in. That would go, and that bell would go off. They'd bring that one, you just, and so it was a bit like military style working on the doors in a way, like you know yourself. Obviously,
even the medical side of stuff as well. The medical side of stuff is like really, really important because if one of the someone you're looking after, or like they're because the present like daughter or granddaughter come in as well, sort of thing as well. But like you've got family members as well. If anything goes bad, like if you have to, like, you have good medic sort of thing, or like gold dust, like your medical skills have to be on point as well, because that's more of a risk. So like map reading, route planning, medical sort of thing is probably better than your physical attributes. Where have you got any good door stories for us then, Brian? I bet you've got some good ones.
Loads of door stories. Yeah, we went to doors. We went to Spennymoor, was a funny one, and we were fighting with all these lads on the door.
Yeah.
And we throw stones at it. They were all national front, about 50 of them. And we were throwing these stones anyway. I went out and I knocked 5 of them out. And one of them, I only half hit, and I knocked him on the floor. And he jumped up and he jumped up and he went natted and fucking hurt. And he run across the road backwards like that, and a car hit him, knocked him in, broke both his legs. So the cop was walking by on the night, and he was coming towards me. I thought he was going to nick me here. He'd see me do this. He said, "Oh, all right, big fella." I went, "All right, officer." He said, "Did you see that lad who got knocked over?" I said, "Oh, yeah." I said, "I seen it." He said, "You won't believe it." He said, "It was his own brother-in-law coming to pick him up in his own car." And I was on the door another time when I was working with a few lads, Cookie. It was the night I broke my finger before I had the fight with Lee Duffy. And I was on the door and the lad was going, "I'm going to get my brother, he's twice as big as you." I said, "Who's your fucking brother?" "Get your brother." He went, "Brian Cockrell." So he was threatening me with me on the door. You know, just crazy stories you get. But people, I've been threatened a few times with myself, or people have phoned up, "I'm going to Brian Cockrell at you." People are mad, aren't they? But yeah.
So
anything you want to say to the kids out there about the knives and what to do and keep out of trouble coming from you? Obviously, war hero, been there, you've been the elite actor in movies. Coming from you will mean a lot to them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like just like impress anyone, or like think it's tough sort of thing. Just like either do it like in a sport, or like do it like something like military would be my advice. Because honestly, like of the 10 toughest people that I know who probably the most dangerous, especially fighting the military career, and special force guys and the close protection guys sort of thing. If I introduce you to them or said in the pub sort of thing, you wouldn't even believe me. It'd just be like some little quiet guy in the corner sort of thing. But
yeah,
the skills are through the roof sort of thing. A lot of them are quite humble. A lot of them are family guys sort of thing. So the people that I've met who are like personally really really dangerous and really skilled, the ones you wouldn't expect, and because they haven't really got an ego as well. So that's what I tell about the kids. Like if they want advice, when you try and get this ego, you want to be feared or you want to do something, it's just a load of nonsense really. And then plus, when you do try and get a reputation down your end for all the wrong reasons, you can have a target on your back. So the other youngsters, when it's their turn to come up, when you're settled down and you're married with kids and you can't be asked for it all anymore, they might think, "Oh, if I take him, I'm going to get a name for myself." So you've always got stigma doesn't really go away if you're a name or whatever in your town. But so I think if you want to prove that you're tough sort of thing, just try and do it in a positive way, because literally the 10 toughest people that I know, people you would just through the military and close protection, you wouldn't even expect them to at all. They'll be the nicest people ever. I mean, they'll probably try and avoid the trouble unless
I know what you're saying. It's a bit like top fighters. I know people can fight for fun.
Yeah,
they never brag about themselves because everyone knows what they can do, so you don't have to talk. The ones who talk about themselves, "I've done this, and I've done that, I've done this," and nobody. And they want to be somebody, but the ones who keep quiet, the ones you've got to be worried about, because they're the ones with the skills, the ones. And I used to think when I was a kid, I'd see somebody with a broken nose and tattooed all over, eyes and ears hanging off of them. I was like, "Oh, he must be hard." They're not. It's the ones, good looking ones, like your Sugar Ray Leonards and your Mayweathers.
Yeah.
Nobody's got a glove on them, so it proves that they've won all their fights.
Because I've met Khabib and GSP, two people who I personally look up to. They're two of the best martial artists that's ever fought, pound for pound. They're absolute savages. But if you meet them, they're just like down to earth sort of thing. Nothing to do, nice guys. I think everyone's got a limit though. As long as everyone stays away from the family. I think if you go near the family, that's when they're going to flip and they'll sort you out. But
that's the spark.
Yeah, I think everyone's got. I think it's in your DNA as a human, to look at your family. Because I'm the same as well. I don't feel if you come near a family or your dog, or whatever, you're just gonna that's just gonna take you over the edge. But
Ryan, did you meet Tyson? Because the picture of you with Mike Tyson.
Yes.
I mean, you never told me that one, Ryan.
Oh no, yeah, he was down people way. One of the old boxing pros sorted that out for us, Lee. Yeah, that was great to me. I was quite young then, and then when I was out in Las Vegas as well at the MGM Grand, he was there as well. But I didn't really get to see it that time because it was like it was getting crowded. There was too many people like far away at the LCM Grand Hotel. But that time when he was in England, like I got to meet him personally. Yeah, but it's a shame because he's not allowed to travel to the UK now because of different like laws and his criminal background. They changed the rules on it.
Yeah, I seen him fight in Manchester. Julian Francis, I thought. And the great Malcolm Hagler was there that night as well. And suddenly passed away now. Fantastic boxer.
Yeah,
I didn't get to meet him. I was just in the crowd, just with people.
I was lucky. I met most of them, like all my like favorite boxers, like I met sort of thing. But like when you meet them, it's just like it's like brilliant because they're the sort of people you like, look up to. When I was a kid, I used to always look up to the boxers like Roberto Duran's and stuff. Like people like the Nigel Benns in the UK, just like the Warriors. People just like trained hard and just. They're just like tough people, but they're gentlemen outside the ring. I mean, Brian, I like the ones that are like gentlemen outside the ring as well. Like
Frank Bruno's like that, lovely man. He's great.
Yeah, most of them are really they're nice. Yeah, Frank Bruno's.
Yeah, he's good. But the good thing is,
he's been down my hometown at a couple of boxing events.
Yeah, he's a really nice man. He had mental health issues. He come out with it. He told the truth. He's suffering. But then
his gym to help people is not far from me. It's in Northampton, but I think it helps a lot of mental health, and I'm not sure what it is, but it's like close to.
Like you said, Ryan, it's good to give back. We've been there, we've had fights, we've done this and done that, and all this stuff. But it's good to give back to the community now and help people and say, don't do what I've done. Get a job.
It'll help Frank Bruno. It'll help his mental health as well. It's probably him a big thing because. Like the way the human brain works, like if you give something to someone, like a kindness sort of thing, you get more like good endorphins from that than doing something good yourself.
Feel good factor.
Yeah. If you help someone, you get feel factor. Maybe that's for yourself, Brian, with this podcast. If you can, I don't know who's watching it. If you get a couple of youngsters who are watching this, and then if you like meet them, you turn their life around, you could get some really good endorphins. I think, that kid before he met me was like going down the wrong path. Now I've got him into this, I've got him training, I've got him a job, then you're going to feel brilliant about that, and it gives you like a bit of a purpose then, and it'll help everyone.
You save somebody from going down the path of crime. The path of crime, especially this day and age, in the 80s, it wasn't bad, you could get away with things, but the technology, like the police sat here, listen, everything you're saying, watch everything you're doing. The MI5 have got every bug and gadget in the world. You can sit and follow you from satellites. They don't even have to move out the police.
Yeah, the real gangsters, like the films are based on, like the Goodfellas, thing. What they did back then, you can't do any of that now. That was the supply and breed. Then with these youngsters as well, if anyone's listening, like these, like about more me, Brian, involved with gangs or whatever. Like when you do go to prison, they'll turn their back on you. They ain't you real friends. You know what I mean? Like in the crew, in the underworld, a lot of them. You get more like snakes than anywhere else in other life. They'll just like toss you to the side sort of thing. But when you're young, like you think they're your mates and stuff. But
you do. You get bamboozled. You think, big posh car. Now a £500 car does the same. Gets you the A to B like a £50,000 car. I used to have big Porsches and all these top of the range cars, but at the end of the day, it's just a car. Just gets you the A to B. It's a piece of metal that drives you there and drives you back. So. All these people, I've got a 400 grand house, I've got this, I want to be happy what you've got, be content what you've got with. And all right, strive to get yourself better, but don't go into life of crime because you get caught, you go to jail. Once you go to jail, you can't get a job. You could be the cleverest, you could have an IQ of 200. You could be in a room of 100 people, and they could have IQ of 10, but they will get it because they haven't been in trouble. They'll get the job because they can be more trusted. They haven't robbed any more vehicles. I've never robbed anything else. I've never been in trouble apart from the driving offences. I've been in fights, but I've gone to court and have been kicked out. So I've never robbed somebody's house, never burgled anywhere, never beat people up for no reason. I've only had fights with proper fighters, and that's why I've got a good name. But when you go bullying people, it comes back on you. You get killed.
A good thing for you as well, Brian, back in the day, like there's a lot less grassing and snitching back then as well compared to nowadays.
Yeah.
Like I said about not being a bully, it can catch up on you as well, because if you like working the doors and you start bullying some 18-year-olds like for like no reason sort of thing. So the people that remember that, and then when you see them like years later when they hit like their like late 20s, when they hit their like prime sort of thing, they could and you're getting on a bit, it could all come back on you. I mean, and then these people you bully for no reason. There's no point because you never know like who they're going to be or in the future. Like, but
was Paul Sykes. He was a boxer. He used to bully all the kids, 16, 17-year-olds. He'd go in the park, sit there with the pat on and come over, little lap at them, and jump up and beat them up. But later on, they all kept beating him up and throwing, smashing eggs on his head and bullying him back. But what you put into life, you get back. So the karma come back on him. All that bullying he done to people. He used to walk in pubs and spit in people's drinks and take drinks off people, make people stand up.
I've never been that. Have you ever seen the latest film, The Joker, that Jacqueline plays it, the 2019 one, The Joker?
I think so, yeah, but he's laughing.
When I watched that, that got me like thinking as well, because he was getting sort of like bullied and picked on sort of thing, and then just one day, like he just like, sort of flipped and got his own back on everyone, and that gets you thinking as well. Like, cause he's only like a little skinny guy, he didn't have much about him, but he obviously got hold of a firearm and got his revenge and stuff, and he obviously shot a few people because he obviously was he had mental problems himself. But that's what I mean. Just when you watch, like, I know it's like make believe and that, but that's just a good example of like you bully someone for like no reason, then you retaliate. I mean, so there's no, it's not good to bully people. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right, Ryan. I think we'll leave it there, mate. We've had a great.
It's great chatting to you.
Yeah, and we'll have you on again. We'll just like to say thanks for everything. We'll come to see you soon down there because we're at a do down there, aren't we? And,
come down
on the 4th of April.
Yeah, we'll have a good time.
Okay, Ryan, thank you very much. God bless, brother. Love you.
You take care of yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Emma.
Thank you. Bye.
I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye. Just hold on 2 minutes. And
I can't get enough of me.
I know, yeah, we don't need to stop.
It was good.
Pay an extra for this.